instead taking the soul out of the hands of Equilibrium. Going to see how, or taking the soul out of the hands of Guile eSports, going to sport it for himself. The Bologna going to make it through. Actually, the Osiris going to be banned on the side of Equilibrium. Or excuse me, the Osiris could be banned on the side of Guile Esports, and they're able to pick up the Bologna, but it's going to be a little costly. You give Soul and Sasano to the side of Equilibrium, and I have no doubts that they know how to use those characters effectively. So already talk should be coming out.
They got the Susano. They got the Susano.
Yes, Equilibrium has their hands on Sasano, so that's most likely going to go in the hands of either Lil Tony or Nano Adaption, whoever is going to be reprising the jungle role today. Terra going to be locked in for Guile Esports, taking a page out of Equilibrium's book. Going to see how they can fare with that Terra, but going to be interesting to see how this game 2 turns out with a Bologna on their side as well as a Terra. I think these team fights are already going to be a lot more clean. I think the Soul Sasano team fights are pretty good, but to the degree that Bologna and Terra can change it and give their team all the help that they require is, I think, going to tip their side a little bit, but we haven't seen the rest of the picks, so it'll be interesting.
Yep.
Davey 1108 communicating with his team, thinking about what the pick is going to be right now. That last game, after losing like that, there are so many things that you could talk about that you need to improve, that you need to do different. I think that first 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, pretty close, but as soon as Nano Adaption got online with that Thor, it just started to slip away. His ultimate's turning every single fight around. His damage was just too much. Camazot's going to be hovered on. I don't mind the pick, but I do think there are other junglers that you might want to try and combo into. I think Wheelix wouldn't be bad to try and stop the Sasano here. Maybe a Thor for yourself to see if you can't catch the Sasano out. The global ultimate might be something you can use a little bit better for your team, but Naja going to be what they choose and locking it in.
You know what the most important part, in my opinion, after a game like that is, it's the captain. The captain is what the most important part of that game is. He has to be able to rally his team. He has to be able to
Absolutely.
say, "Hey guys, this went wrong. This is what we're gonna fix. This is how we're gonna play game 2. We're not gonna do what we did last game." And surrendering is an option. It's always an option. It's always been an option throughout history. Giving up has always been an option, but we can't give up game 2.
Maybe not giving up. Don't say giving up. That makes it sound as if they just want to throw in the towel. They want to fight, and they're a good team. They are 8-1 right now, so in standings. But that F6 button just looked real tasty for them right there. No understanding that 10,000 gold down and everything not going your way. You just want to throw that game away, stop thinking about it, and move on to the next one. I understand the mentality. Anubis going to be locked in on the side of Equilibrium, I think, coming out with a little bit more swagger and confidence that could bite them in the butt. With 2 mages on your team, you're already a pretty squishy team. You do need... it could be Soul going to the duo lane. That could be a configuration that they're going for, but interesting to see. Naja, however, speaking a little bit of how that's going to work, I think possibly going to bite them in the butt too, but if a Naja gets ahead, a Naja can do pretty much whatever whatever they want. So if they get on their heels, I think Naja can be scary, but I think if Naja is on his heels, excuse me, all of those abilities go forward. It's a very offensive kit, a very in-your-face kit. There's nothing that kit really provides other than the ultimate to get somebody out of a fight or sustain them through the fight. Sure, Naja has that heal with the with that steroid along with it, but that's really it. After you use that and your sash is down, you don't really have that much utility other than a little bit of a slow. But if they could put that, if they could use the Naja effectively, I don't mind it. I just hope that it doesn't fall apart early. Gonna have to try and see if you can't win the mid lane matchup early with a god like a good early clear god like maybe an Agni, maybe a Nox on their end. I saw that hovered on the side of Equilibrium, but it's going to be interesting to see how Guile Esports responds to this. They want to win this game and force game 3. They want to win this set, but the communication right now is going to be real key. What are they talking about, and what do they know they need to fix? What have they not caught on to? Going to be, I'm excited to see it, and I want Guile Esports to bring this one back into their favor, and I want to see game 3. I want to see Equilibrium put on their heels too. That Anubis pick shouldn't really ever happen in a game that you're taking 100% serious, so hopefully going to smack them in the mouth for being a little bit too confident, but we'll see. We will see.
I mean, we saw that last game with Cuddly. Cuddly was on their back foot a while there. They picked up the Raijin. Now, I think they weren't taking their opponent seriously, and their opponent came back to, smack them in the mouth a bit.
It's
but
just,
in the end,
it makes the human aspect come in. These are human beings. We are smart people. And yes, those kind of landslides are going to happen to literally any player. And if you slack off and you just get that swagger, that other team could bring it back into their favor, and you might not have a response to something they haven't been using. They could pull something out of their pocket that they haven't shown anybody, and you might not be prepared for it. And because you let a game 2 slip, or you let a game 1 slip, or you weren't taking them seriously, you could lose because of a pick that you have. So a much more professional draft coming out of Guile eSports than Equilibrium right now. However, I think Equilibrium having Soul, Sasano, Fafnir, Anubis being the only outlier here, they might be going just for complete and total objective control. But I think between Poseidon, Cupid, Bologna, your team fight is pretty nasty on the side of Guile Esports. Nike going to be the solo lane choice for Black Egg 49.
And at this point, we're at the official. This week is at the end of this week. We'll be at the official midway point of the league. Only 4 more weeks left after this one. At this point, we have like a lot of teams have dropped, and and they've said they want to come back fall with a more dedicated team and so on and so forth. But you got to remember that the solid teams that are here to stay are here to play, and they play very well. So I mean, as we get halfway through the season, I'm a little sad to see a lot of these teams drop. I'm also a little happy to see that we're going to see a lot more serious matches and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying, Tyner?
I understand, and I think it's very, very clear who the bigger teams are, who the teams are that have future plans and good units together to make a good run in Fall League. I think a lot of other teams that have been struggling to find their footing and struggling to find their identity and their play style simply give up a little too early, but I'm hoping that the teams that are losing, that are absolutely getting blown out, stick with it and make a story, a big comeback story. They played a lot more ranked. They got out of, they stopped playing Joust and started actually playing Conquest. Whatever the story may be, if they can put a team together that can compete in the Fall League, it's going to be a much better league overall, and it's something good to talk about.
And I think we've talked about this before, but we intend to separate the league into 2 parts. One will be called Titan League, and one will be called Demigod League. And Demigod League will be for teams that want to be in Titan League. And pretty much Titan League is for the big rollers, like Inhumans, The End, Cuddly, SGO, Inhumans. I already said Inhumans. Like Equilibrium, other teams that like are clearly up there in the skill department, experience department. So we won't see any of these like lower teams that are still learning to be teams, etc. Get blown out. I mean, people have been saying I've been too considerate of people's feelings this summer league, but Fall League, that Titan tier won't have any blows held back. I've started looking at the rules. I've been trying to get everyone together to look at the rules together on PlayStation, but it just hasn't come together yet. Everyone's been busy. It was a holiday weekend, I mean, next season just is shaping up to be so much better. And I mean, like Tyler sees it. A lot of times I have to refer to admins for like next to everything. Like I ask questions, like what do they think on this matter? It's really hard to make, like for me, because I want to be nice. Like I want to say, yeah, don't forget about it, whatever. But I have to be hard on people. Otherwise, we're gonna have everything just fall apart so quick. People
Absolutely.
Give them an inch, they take a mile. Like we've seen it where a team has actually put in 5 subs just because they thought we would let them, because one of their players he had signed him up on the main roster, and he refused to play. And I mean, you wanted to let him just drop the guy, and I couldn't let him do that because it states in the rules. Once you sign up with that main roster, they're stuck with that main roster. It's a team thing. Like that's what the league is. It's a team. We want to see people grow, and right now, as the league is with this summer league, where these strong teams mixing with these weak teams, it's just not. Teams aren't going to grow as quickly. I mean, we've seen rapid growth in lower teams that have to play against more experienced teams and so on. But we want them to be able to grow in a more fun environment, I guess, is what we're saying here.
Absolutely, and the main prospect and the main message that is going to be coming out of Fall League with the Titan League and the Demigod League is that the Demigod League is going to be easier for those teams. The Titan League is going to be harder. If you're a good team, congratulations, you qualified to Titan League. You're going to be literally fighting the best teams every single week. If you're in Demigod League, yes, you don't qualify for Titan League, but you're playing other people who did neither. And if you think you have that edge, or you know you have that edge, you could just steamroll them, and we could put you in that Titan League. The bottom teams from Titan League are going to be bumped down, and the top teams from Demigod League are going to be bumped up. So there's always something to play for, and always something to try and grab that extra win for, to not drop games, to play serious. So Fall League is going to be much more professional. At least I hope so.
Yeah, we've been considering charging a fee for Titan League because that's where the serious teams are. That's where the teams that came to play, and because we've seen a lot of people drop out, and not only is it a little sad for me, but it's also very, very vexing for me as someone who has to actually go through and make the schedule all over again. I can't exactly move teams from block to block to block because that would throw off the whole power dynamic of the league. And everyone, I guarantee you, the moment I move a team over from a league, regardless if they're a winner team, they're a losing team, I will get destroyed for it. It will destroy the whole dynamic of the league. It would just destroy what we've built thus far. I mean, I try to do everything for a reason. Like, I don't want to call out a team for dropping. I want them to either say, hey, make the announcement for me, because we've seen, I want them to say either make the announcement or make the announcement themselves, because we've seen whole teams just get roasted for it, and then people just start making casing points for other things that they want to happen. And I know we want to be like the SPL. Like, I want us to be like the PS. Is it the SPL? It's the SPL, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I want us to be like the SPL, but we're not. We're on a console. We don't have the equipment. We don't have the same funding that we do, so things are going to be different. Like, you guys can bitch at me to make everything the exact same way, but we can't. We literally cannot do everything the exact same way. We are different. Please accept that. But we are trying.
I think Lil Tony's actually picked up on something that I had been silently planning to do during games against a European opponent, which is to take a mage into the duo lane using a god like a Sol or Poseidon, maybe even a Kronos, a god that has bigger abilities and the abilities to hit much harder, which makes it much easier to hit because abilities are a lot easier than auto attacks on EU pings. So I think that's probably almost absolutely what they were going for with that Sol pick of the duo. So I do think that was a very serious and very well thought out pick for them. But in that middle lane, Jovenfly, pretty sure he has all that swagger and all that confidence going up against Kinu. But and Anubis gets eaten alive by a good Poseidon. So I think if that Kraken is on point, it's going to be very well.
Yeah, because his ultimate literally makes him stay still. He's literally a sitting target for the AoE damage, the wave, and the ultimate that's going to come out of Poseidon. I mean, it couldn't be any worse. I mean, actually, it is worse. There's a Susano on the field as well. And I think Tyner stepped away for a second here, but Sol and After just going to clear this wave while the opponents go get that red buff to increase their clear.
Priority. All right, right back in the game. That speed buff going to be secured for Equilibrium. I haven't seen exactly what's going on, but it's pretty even the gold right now, so I'm going to assume nothing super big has happened. Probably just little bits of poke wars and slap fights and such.
Sol and Fafnir invaded purple buff, but besides that, I think that the Equilibrium actually invaded the other's speed buff, I believe. I'm not sure.
Equilibrium just secured their own speed buff. The speed buffs were secured by both teams, so I might have missed it. I was talking to Dad, but who knows? Pretty quiet across the map right now. An early first blood I don't think is going to be the play here. Guile eSports clearly cleaning up how, obviously not clearly, but a first blood hasn't come early, and I haven't seen any major mistakes. They're playing a little bit more to their skills. Classic EU, however, able to pick up the first blood on the enemy solo laner. Black Egg 49 gonna go down. That Bellona already the good pick. Mikey Windle was there as well. I think he definitely played a part in whatever that kill, whatever happened before that kill. Good job by Guile eSports to get themselves back on the board.
Why would you let a Bellona through? I mean, what reasoning in your mind time could there be for a competent team like Equilibrium or Guile eSports to let a Bellona through?
I think when you're sitting on that very last ban and you think, well, Susano isn't banned and I could ban him and they have first pick, but that also leaves Bellona open. So why not leave both open? Why not get one or the other? I think is exactly what went on in the heads of Equilibrium. If both are available right now, I want to get one, and I don't want to not have one of them. So you just leave them both open. They grab the Bellona, they grab the Susano. Big fight going on in the solo lane right now. Nano Adaption able to grab himself a kill onto Kino, but Nano Adaption going to keep with it. The ultimate coming out of him is going to pick up Mikey Windle, a double kill for him. Not going to keep pushing it. Classic EU has plenty of mana to respond to it. I don't think it was a very safe play. Bellona can do many, many nasty things when you think she is down, but little do you know she has an advantage with her cooldowns or with skill. But Nano Adaption already getting himself on the board with that Susano pick. Classic EU possibly making that mistake of fighting them, but not enough mana on the side of Nano Adaption to respond to that. So good early fight in the solo lane. Go for it.
Really wants to dive that. You can tell, and he's gonna get it. Oh, and there's a Bellona ult, but the Nike.
Classic EU was able to pick up Black Egg, but that leaves Nano Adaption still alive, sitting on 2 kills and an assist, but he was able to get a solo laner on the board. However, Classic EU sitting at 2-1-0 against a Nike is not a good sight for Black Egg 49 to see.
I mean, thinking about it, I mean, if that Bellona had her, if she had been 1 level higher, right? Whatever. If she'd been 1 level higher, that fight could have gone completely different. That Bellona would have stopped Susano in his tracks. And it would have been over.
Bellona is a crazy character because the level, everything matters. How much gold that they're ahead of you, how much, what they're leveling first, which is almost always the bludgeon. But I've seen some Scourges be leveled first because you can interrupt it. Nike doesn't have that ability to interrupt it except with the leap. But they're interesting things that you have to think about playing against the Bellona, a character with so much in their kit, so much that they can do, so many little advantages they can get. But I think Classic EU is going to be what they're probably riding on this game to try and take down Equilibrium and force game 3.
Right, I mean, the Bellona is an all-around great character. She has a Reflect in her shield. She has the Lifesteal in her Scourge, the straight-up damage from her hammer. And like I've said many times, she was designed to be the god that you had to adapt to, not that she adapted to you. You adapted to her.
Yes. And that is absolutely what her kit puts together. There's so many things you could do with her. You could box with her. You could do straight, hard, lots and lots of damage with her bludgeon. The ultimate, as well as the bleed, is going to come out. Panicking and using that Kraken is Kino92. Not going to be able to pick up a kill for himself. Instead, he's going to take a quick vacation to the well.
I mean, Susano is pretty...
Susano is crazy. Susano is crazy good, and in the right hands, he's crazy better. And I think the SS is definitely warranted for him on the console league because depending on what your sensitivity is, responding to how fast and how easy Susano is, Nano Adaption displaying exactly how fast and high damage the character is, 4-0-1 already. He's hard to play against on console. You're not quite as zippy, not quite as hard to predict on console, which makes a character like Susano with abilities that are almost impossible to miss. They're big circles, big cones, big amounts of damage. They happen really fast. He has all the mobility in the world. On console, he is a monster. Black Egg over in that solo lane, forced to use that ultimate to stay alive. Classic EU winning that matchup so far. I think Guile eSports having probably the best solo laner out of Block 4 from what I've seen displayed. He's drew pretty even with him last game, but on this Bellona, Classic EU is just doing so well right now, representing himself and his team very well. 2-5 right now. Wait, Equilibrium. Yes.
Is Moshido in this? No, Moshido's Block 3, right?
Moshido is WKDMT solo laner, another good solo laner coming out of the blocks. This battle of the solo laners has been so interesting because there's really no team with a super bad solo laner. There's some lower teams, but there's just so many good solo laners, so many good warriors in this game. All these matchups are
I've never seen a bad jungle this league. Like, all the jungles this league have been phenomenal. Like, I mean, there might have been a few mistakes, but on the average,
Ultimate's going to be coming out of Mikey Wendell, or excuse me, Nano Adaption going to pick up Mikey Wendell, trying to respond right now as Guile eSports. Phil Taylor in a bit of trouble right now, going to get pulled by Nano Adaption. The meditation is going to be good to keep his teammates in the fight, but no kill potential right now for Equilibrium. Soda's going to take their 1-kill victory and respond as well as they can. Terra just dashing in to try and get a little bit of damage onto Big Gun, but to no avail so far. The ultimate coming out of Davey going to not pick anybody up. Excuse me, the combination of ultimates between Davey as well as Kino going to pick up Nano Adaption, shutting him down after going on a rampage through the first 7 minutes of the game.
That is, I mean, the two ultimates were worth it in my opinion. I mean,
absolutely, and I think shutting down Nano Adaption is a huge priority at whatever cost. Use up everything, get him into his well, put him out of life, keep him dead. Which leaves Classic EU avail. Yes, right? Absolutely. Yes, he's just now coming out of the well, which puts which puts Equilibrium at a disadvantage. Joven Flyover going to pick up an ultimate, pick up a kill with his ultimate. The damage out of Guile eSports isn't going to be enough. A perfect Aegis out of him. Jovenfly able to get himself a double kill. Equilibrium responding perfectly to what seemed like a pretty good play out of Guile eSports to try and get a couple of kills. Classic EU going to be one of the victims, and that's definitely not what you want to see right now, knowing that Classic EU is what you're going to be riding on through this game on that Bellona.
I mean, watching that Anubis pick up, get that kill, it was ridiculous. I mean, the Poseidon counters him, but the Poseidon's not there.
Yes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy knows how to pick and choose battle.
Absolutely. I think Jovenfly is an intelligent player. More so than he is a mechanical player, he's intelligent. He knows what to do and when to do it. I can look away for 1 second. Lil Tony gets a kill onto Davey 1108, but the minion damage is going to be too nuts. Olympian Swordsman getting on the board. Guile eSports having an extra tool in their archers.
Everyone's archers are broken. That's not a lot here. That damage
Nerf
scaling.
minions, please. But
Everyone
I think
wants it.
ultimate coming out of Mikey Windle onto Jovenfly. The ultimate out of Kino going to pick up Jovenfly, however. A good setup between them. Trying to keep themselves in this game right now. Not down by any more than about 2,000 gold right now. Still, you want to start putting these fights together and look at a Gold Fury or even a Portal Demon as soon as that comes up in about a minute.
This Fafnir has been doing phenomenally. Like he's been hitting these stuns.
Fafnir is an absolutely ridiculous support to go against. He does so much in a team fight it's hard to keep up with. Setting up an easy kill for Nano Adaption to pick up right there. Phil Taylor a little bit worse for wear, but they weren't able to pick him up.
The main problem with him is that we don't see him much. Like we just don't.
Poseidon?
I don't know why we don't. No, Fafnir.
Fafnir, yeah. I think Fafnir deserves to be a first pick for us ban, and in SPL he is. It's not a difference between PC and console. The character is just simply good. He has such a good team fight prowess, having 2 stuns in his dragon form as well as a big team buff, essentially having a built-in Shogun's armor for himself as well as sustain. Crazy good how prominent that character can be in a team fight. He could go 1 versus 2 and hold them off for long enough to get another player to join him. The utility out of Fafnir as well as the team fight prowess just makes him crazy good. I think he should be picked and banned every single game.
I mean, he has the potential for it. But anyways, moving on. How do you think Guile eSports is going to get back into this game here? I mean, they have the Bellona. I think they have the tools to get back in this game.
Absolutely.
But I think they need... I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, I want to just say shut down the Susanoo, but that's the easy step. I mean, that's the hard step. But after that,
Jovenfly getting himself another double kill. I need to be a little bit quicker about finding him. He's at the top of the UI, but I think the number one thing is getting that Najah pick to start working out for them. Mikey Windle 0-4 again. His jungle has been absolutely nullified by Nano Adaption and what he was capable to do on both Thor and Susanoo thus far. But I think number one thing is shutting down Jovenfly and shutting down Nano Adaption. It's going to be hard to shut down Nano Adaption, but I think Jovenfly on that Anubis is going to be much easier to catch out, much easier to kill. He's a super squishy character, but I also think that you want to get that Najah pick online and get him going. A Najah is only good from equal or ahead, and I don't think getting equal is in his sights, but you just want to start getting picks with that little Tony over in that duo lane, able to pick up Cupid, pick up a kill onto the Hunter of Guile eSports, Davey 1108. The tier 1 tower going to be their target, looking like it's probably going to be going down. Little Tony with that passive of Soul. The minion's going to come in and get that quick debuff. The tier 1 tower going to go down. Equilibrium able to grab the first tower of the game.
I mean, yeah, just saying it. I can understand the Cupid pickup by Guile, right? The Cupid actually would counter the Susanoo. High mobility guy gets shut down by the cripple, right?
Yes.
I believe it also has an area slow, or
yes, the ultimate slows when you're walking inside of it, and it does mesmerize you if you don't have your passive up. If you do utilize your passive correctly, it does a stun. But inside of it, you are also crippled, so the movement out of Nano Adaption is completely nullified. He's not even in that fight. I need to go to the right people. There's Gold Fury, a fight over the Oracles right now, and the only kill going to the side of Guile, excuse me, going to the side of Equilibrium. Classic EU going to be going down. The Kraken was used in that fight. Not sure to what degree, but I will get better at spectating this. I was pretty groovy back when I did it a couple of weeks ago, but now that it's working for me again, I think I'll get right back into being groovy again.
We'll get you up there. I mean,
oh yeah,
we still have all these people waiting to.
The ultimate coming out of Mikey Windle, so afraid of what the big dragon's going to be able to set up for the team. I don't think that was a bad play at all. I think just playing super safe. Biggin able to get himself a kill under that tower. The big dragon has come to play. Nano Adaptation able to get himself on a killing spree
I think there's a song about this. I believe it was called Puff the Magic Dragon. Although
Puff the Magic Dragon has come to play. The revenge is imminent for the seemingly docile dragon. He has come to wreak havoc.
I believe that was a song they sung in Vietnam when a Gatling gun got its hand on someone.
Absolutely, and then, yeah, I still remember when Fafnir won the war in Vietnam for himself. Jovenfly going to go down. Davey 1108 able to get himself on the board with his first kill of the game. Hopefully that's going to turn the tides for Guile eSports as they try to find their way back into Game 2 to see if they can't force Game 3, but I think already a better showing for them. Definitely not quite the difference that we saw in Game 1 at this point in the game. Davey able to get himself another kill, able to shut down Nano Adapting, and that's exactly the kind of play that they need to start making more and more consistently. Davey 1108, if he can keep on making these plays, I think they absolutely have a chance to keep get this game back in their hands and try and force Equilibrium into a spot that they are not comfortable.
Like
Stun is going to be good out of Phil Taylor. The Heart Bomb, unfortunately, not going to be able to land. Biggin in the fight as well. He doesn't have the Dragon online right now, but nothing big happening right now. They're starting up the Gold Fury. Is Guile eSports going to see if they can't grab that objective, but the response out of Equilibrium should be what deters him from that. Classic EU taking a lot of damage himself. However, Lil Tony going to go down. Davey 1108 able to get himself the third kill of the game. This game clearly already turning around and starting to get Guile eSports getting some footing versus these characters. Jovenfly, however, looking to get himself on the board. Get himself a few more kills, excuse me.
That Terra has to catch up. She has to catch up for this to be for Guile to come back in this. That Terra needs to catch up. Terra's such a huge team player. She needs to be in those fights, popping that root so that way the Poseidon can follow it up with his Whirlpool and then hit the ultimate on maybe 2 to 3 people off of that Terra stun, that Terra root or that Terra stun alone. It's what needs to happen.
Sure, and the Gold Fury started by Equilibrium. Our response is pretty slow right now out of Guile, but enough health on the Gold Fury to encourage Equilibrium to drop that, and the ultimate coming out of Davey isn't going to land on anybody, but it is going to force Equilibrium to stand back. Coming from behind, however, is Nano Adapting to see if he can't grab some kills. A kill for him, and Jovenfly going to immediately turn this fight to their side. Full aggression right now from Equilibrium with their lead. Phil Taylor going to be the next to fall. Nano Adapted with a double kill. Davey 1108 possibly going to be his next victim. We'll see how he's able to put this one together. Big fight coming out. That's already a confirmed Gold Fury for them. You don't want to lose any characters. 3 kills so far for this fight. There's just nothing you can do right now. Classic EU in a lot of trouble. 3 members of Equilibrium right now trying to take him down. Nano Adaptation getting he wasn't able to get a quadra kill, but he was able to get 4 kills. Great showing out of him on that 12, 2, and 5. Sasada Portal Demon going to be what they call for right now. Going to have Lil Tony push up that left lane and see if you can't grab that tier 2 tower as well. Something a very smart team would be able to do is have that split push going at the exact moments you need it to go.
I mean, looking at his stats now, unfortunately, he hasn't ranked for this conquest. I mean, for conquest yet, but I can imagine he's up there.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to rate someone on the Susanoo.
I'm not too concerned about what his rank is in Conquest. I'm only concerned about the game that he's playing right now, and with Equilibrium using him to his full potential. 12, 2, and 5 is right about where I would expect us correctly use Susanoo to be. So this game drastically on the side of Equilibrium right now. Guile eSports is trying to claw and fight their way back into it. They're not at a massive deficit. 8,000 gold sucks to look at, but I think you can still make plays, and Davey gave them a lot of hope. He was on a killing spree at one point before he was taken out, but still, Guile eSports, they're not completely dead. They have plenty of life to them. They still have 3 towers. There are still objectives that they can contest like a fire giant, but Equilibrium doing exactly what they did last game. They just have a stranglehold on Guile eSports, and they're cutting the blood flow to the brain.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just thinking about this, though, do you think that the Najab pickup was worth it? I feel like Nemesis kind of counters Susanoo a little bit, because she can counter a lot of that burst damage with her shield.
I for sure think Nemesis would have been a better pick. I don't think she outright counters Susanoo, but I think there's a lot more utility to her than a Naja in this particular situation, but I think against such a squishy team, the only characters that she could effectively use the ultimate on is Nike as well as Fafnir. Targets like Anubis, Sol, Sasano, sure, you can mow them down. I think a character more like a Hunbats, which I think was banned out, but a character like a Hunbats would have worked. Even if it was shut down last game, you could still pick it up, knowing the displacement factor that you get on characters like Anubis, or even a character like Thanatos. I wouldn't have minded to try and get your early game a jump start and try and push yourself to the late game before Equilibrium can respond, but the Naja clearly hasn't worked out so far. Davey 1108 trying to get those hearts. The ultimate going to come through from him. Not going to land on the little Tony, only going to save his life for a little bit more. The Aegis is coming out of him. He's going to stay alive for a little bit longer. If he can possibly make a play here on the little Tony, the dash is going to come out of him, though, so nothing going to come out of that dual lane fight. Oh, slow coming out of little Tony. A couple more auto attacks will do it if he can find them.
What is this Soul? She is just fast.
Absolutely, with that third ability, as well with Fatalis boots and that third ability, Soul moves like a rocket. Not having that Fatalis built in, but when landing the auto attack, Soul's coming at you and she's coming at you fast. You better have a response now or you're dead.
You remember when she had Fatalis just in her kit?
I remember that, and it was overpowered. Crazy times. Crazy times. But Jovenfly going to be using his ultimate, trying to find Mikey Windle, and he does grab it. The ultimate coming out of, I can remember the name, Kinu isn't going to land. Kinu possibly going to go down. Black Eagle to find that one. The next victim is going to be Phil Taylor. Nano Adaption able to grab himself another kill. 13, 2, and 7 so far on this Sasano. Classic EU forced to use the ultimate there. Not to escape, I think, trying to make a play, but he's going to go down as well. The only character on the side, the only member of Guile eSports still standing is Davey 1108. After the fact, Classic EU was able to pick up Fafnir, but I don't think they're going to be worried about that trade at all. I think 4 for 1 is an optimal trade for any team. Trying to contest that mid tower right now. Little Tony on that Soul, just going to shred through it. Davey just backing, I think, not really knowing exactly what he could possibly do to try and stop him. Doesn't want to fight him. Already knows that he's caught out, so just using the back to make a little bit of a social save. Little Tony getting himself another kill. I think Equilibrium rolling their way to a Game 2 victory, sitting at a 14,000 lead right now. It's looking pretty grim for Guile eSports. Unfortunate for them, going from undefeated to what looks like is going to be an 8-2. I hope that they... but the thing about a game like this is that you take a team that has been doing so well and you force them into a game like this. You force them to play games like this where they lose, where they get beat, where so many things go wrong, where things aren't going their way, where they had a plan and it was disrupted so easily by a team like Equilibrium. You can look at this footage, you can see what's going on at the map, you can see what's going on across the board, and look at you can look at gold, you can look at damage, which, speaking of damage, not surprising, sitting at 18,404 damage is I've been saying his name all day, Nano Adaption on that Sasano, and followed right behind him is Little Tony on that Soul. But going back to what I was talking about, a team like Guile eSports who are so well put together and so confident with themselves, and they're a unit that wants to stay together and wants to keep succeeding, and definitely are going to be contending for the Titan League in the fall split. But hopefully they can look at this footage, put themselves back together for the next for next week, get a couple more wins, get themselves right back on track and get their swagger. But it's unfortunate for them that this kind of game, this kind of set has to happen. But there has to be a winner, and there has to be somebody that comes out on top, and this time it's Equilibrium.
I mean, they can certainly, they certainly found a sparring partner at least.
Absolutely, and I think scrimming against this team is going to be something that should be very, very, very attractive in the eyes of their leader. You want to go against a team like Equilibrium very often, as the End likes to go against the Inhumans as often as we can schedule them in, but a little laggy for me right now, but cleaning up a little bit. I didn't see it, but Jovenfly as well as Biggin were able to go and grab that fire drive. Davey got able to get himself on the board. 4 members of Guile eSports collapsing now onto Equilibrium, but to no avail right now. Nano Adaption hitting like a truck. That ultimate, which usually doesn't have the most damage, more of a cleanup, more of a utility ultimate, doing loads of damage right there. Classic EU gonna go down. Jovenfly able to get himself on the board. So far, a 2-for-1 trade on the side of Equilibrium, looking like the end of the game is coming near. The Phoenix is going to be the next target. Already going to the backline. Nano Adaption getting a little bit of damage out to them and going to force them to go back to the wall to heal, which is going to give them all the permission to grab that Phoenix. Davey 1108 making the unadvised decision to stick around with that Titan, stick around with that Phoenix while 4 characters of Equilibrium are under it. The Titan might be the next target, but I think gonna opt for some for a couple more Phoenixes before they decide to siege that Titan. Actually gonna opt to back off, I think, going for that Portal Demon, backing, getting more health, and then going for another siege for the win. But still, the game lasting a little bit longer than I expected. However, Equilibrium still has opportunities to mess up and give Guile eSports some more footing. But with 6 towers still standing, that's essentially 6 team fights that they can lose before they have to really start thinking about how they're going to end the game soon. So they have a luxury of being able to do pretty much whatever they want.
I agree. I don't really know what you can do in this situation. You're against a team of mostly masters, and
there's not much you can do. I think they're just going to have to reflect on this and talk to their players and see how they can improve and what they can do to try and make the next set of games that they have dominant on their end, and try and show improvement in their scrimmages, and try new things to maybe take a page out of Equilibrium's book on characters like Sasano, so Thor. Look at what they're doing, how they're doing it, and see if you can't mimic it and make it hard on them by giving them a taste of their own medicine. But still, this set, a lot's going to come from it, I'm sure, for Guile eSports, and I'm going to be excited to see how they respond to this. However, Equilibrium, clearly the top dog right now over in that block 4. Kino able to get himself his third kill of the game. Able to grab Nano Adaption and pull him out of his rampage.
That's important to do.
Absolutely, but still, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference to what the end result is going to be, but we'll see. I mean, grouping up right now, that left Phoenix is going to be the target right now for Equilibrium. Going down is Davey 1108. That's a lot of damage Guile eSports no longer has online. Minions are pouring into the Titan right now. They have to be careful to make sure that the damage from those minions isn't going to get out of hand. However, losing Phil Taylor, already sitting with 2 members in the well. Classic EU going to be going down. Kino going to be going down as well, most likely. Classic EU going down there. That's the second kill. Only 1 member of Guile eSports standing right now. That is Mikey Wendell charging into the Titan's lair. 2-0. Equilibrium able to convincingly win this set against the undefeated Guile eSports. That is game 2, ladies and gentlemen. 34-10. Wow.
And tune in at 10 when we cover, I believe, Banana Boys versus someone.
Half an hour?
Half an hour? That's at 10. I don't know.
10 East?
10 EST, yes.
Yes, that would be half an hour.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll be here, but if it goes towards midnight, I'm out. I'm gonna go see Spider-Man.
Okay. I'm gonna put the stats up. I'm gonna let everybody see all the stats, and then I'll end this stream. Talk a little bit about some of the numbers. I think structure damage is gonna be interesting to see. I think Lil Tony had massive amounts. Yeah, Lil Tony's sitting at 4,813 structure damage. Not bad. 0 structure damage all across the board from Guile eSports. Not even able to sneeze on a tower. Unfortunate that had to happen to them, but clearly Equilibrium is somebody they need to start studying and learning how to beat. This is Tyner57 finally getting back, and as well as the Reaper 01. We're going to be signing up.